Okay, so we have looked at module one, which is understanding the platform, and module two, which is how to have a good profile on Upwork, and we've also looked at module three, how to attract clients, and we've talked about how you can go about identifying potential projects that you can bid for. We've talked about matching the job description with your skill set, and also looking out for jobs that you have samples to display, right? Samples you can show to the client. We've said that it is better you tell a client that I can do it. Uh, it is better to say I can do it and here is the sample than I can do it, right? Clients will most likely believe I can do it and here is the sample as long as your skills match your the job description. Remember that Upwork is a marketplace, so you're not the only person. You don't have monopoly of the platform. You are not the only person bidding for job. There are other people who are also bidding for jobs on Upwork. Most likely, the same job you're bidding for, you have more than five people bidding for it. Okay, so you're not the only person. Then in this module four, we're talking about how to write a winning proposal. Now, proposal is another difficult aspect of Upwork. One of the reasons why people hardly get hired on Upwork, right? You see a job you like, but how do you convince this person that you are the most qualified person for this job? Okay, so look at the structure, crafting, a winning, and all of that. So let's quickly go to Upwork. I will show you samples from what I've used in the past. Okay, now you don't need to use the template, just understand the job requirement and follow this instruction. So let's go to Upwork. I'm currently signed into one of my Upwork accounts. Okay, so we've talked about how that you have to go through the jobs here, best match. We've talked about all of that. Once you see a job, so how do you write a winning proposal, or what is the structure of a winning proposal? I'm going to open my message, right? That is my inbox on Upwork for this account. I'll open it so that you will see what we're talking about. Okay. Okay. I'm going to use this first one. Let's scroll up to the. Okay. Let's scroll up to the offer. This is a $10 per hour job for 2 hours. Okay. So let's see the offer. View original proposal. So, so this is the job description, right? This is the job description. Let me click more so you can see others. This is the job description. So what you need to do is to pay attention to all the instructions outlined by the client. For instance, this client says you must include available now in your cover letter to show that you are available to start immediately. Now, person has gone ahead to say if you don't put this available now, you will not be hired. This is one instruction. So you must pay attention to all the instructions outlined by the client. Okay. So the next thing is read through the job post, read through the description very well to ensure you understand what the client is looking for. So let me go back to Upwork. This is Upwork again. If you see a job like this, my post is to look for a writer who is very passionate and knowledgeable about football. If you click on more, you'll see more description about the job. Your duty, your first duty is to read through and understand the job post. Failure to do that, failure to understand the client description very well will lead you astray, right? It will make you to write proposals that doesn't align with the need. The most important thing is aligning your proposal with the need of the client. What is this client looking for? And how can I present myself as the best person for this job? So let's read through the proposal and then I will give you some hint on how to write this kind of proposal. Now, this strategy can be applied to any kind of job, any kind of niche, whether graphic design, web development, VA, and all of that. This client say, we need someone to research and collect unique. Let me copy this. Let me copy this. All right. Let me copy this so we can analyze it together. What's happening? Why are you angry? Who is sending me a message? Oops. So let me go to. I want to analyze this job very well so that you understand the intention of the user, of the poster. Once you understand the intention of the client, it becomes very easy for you to convince the client, right? It is like someone saying, I need to drink bottled water. And then you're coming to tell the client I have sachet water. That is not what the person is looking for. The person say, I need bottled water. So your major interest here, sign up for lab. Oh, that's great. Okay. They said I should come and test out lab, Google Lab, Google Workspace Lab. So this is what the client says. Okay, let's increase the font size. So the client says this: we need someone to research and collect unique and original how to create a vision board guide. So what I usually do is I copy out the content, the description. After reading it, and I find out that I have the skill. So I copy it out and highlight the key point here. So this one of the key points here is original. The person is not just looking for any kind of content. The person is looking for original to collate a unique and original. Now, why are you doing this? It's so that when writing your proposal, you can feed this information back to the client so that the person will understand that look, this person has properly read this job description and has shown that he or she can deliver this job. Okay, so I'm going to highlight some of the key points here. Collect unique and original, which means the content must be unique and original. How to this kind of content, how to create a vision board guide. Okay, I will also highlight this. Now, the client has gone further to say you must have excellent command of English language. So, how can you prove to a client that you actually have this excellent command of English language? Is by writing an impeccable proposal that is devoid of errors, grammatical errors. Okay, so you highlighted that this is what the person is looking for. And the person also say you must be fast and efficient. Fast and efficient. I'm going to highlight that, right? So the client is also looking for somebody who can deliver this job very fast without compromising on quality. And then the client says you must be available to start immediately. Start immediately. This is another key point. So if you have other jobs that will prevent you from not starting immediately, then this is not for you because the client is looking for somebody who can start immediately. The client went ahead by saying you must understand the law of attraction and experience writing about it. So how can you prove to this client that you have an understanding of the law of attraction and experience writing about it? It is through your sample. If you have written about similar content, you present it to the client that look, I have done it and this is an evidence that I have done it before. This person say preferred, meaning that well, it's not mandatory, right? But the person prefers someone that has an idea about it. Okay. This does not have to be long and drawn out, rather a short and point and to point guide with some creative ideas on what could be included and how it could be done. E.g., this is another key point. They say the content must be short, concise, precise, right, straight to the point, with practical guides on how a person can achieve this, right? How to create a vision board guide. So if I read the content, I should be able to do this, do this. This is what the client is looking for, right? That is the requirement there. No more than 2 hours. So the client is saying that this job should be delivered in not more than 2 hours, right? Remember the reason why we're highlighting all of this? It's so that we can feed the client with this information. We can tell the client, look, I will deliver in 2 hours, right? Because if you're writing your proposal for this particular client and then you're telling the client that you deliver in 5 hours, it means that you didn't read through the content very well because the person has specified everything they need. They say this job must be delivered in 2 hours. Okay? Now, the person has also said sufficient sample will be appreciated. Not really mandatory, but the person will also prefer you to have a sample. Okay? So these are some of the key points. Okay. And then the person say include available now in your proposal. Include available now in your cover letter or your proposal. Okay. I think okay, these are the few points I can pick up right now. So when writing your proposal, you then need to feed this information back to the client. Let me show you a sample from what I wrote for this client. This is the sample I wrote. This is the sample I wrote. So I'm going to paste it. Let's say the proposal. Okay, so this is the proposal I wrote for the client. Oops, let me paste it without formatting. Okay, so this is the proposal I wrote for the client. All right, this is the proposal I wrote for the client. This is the proposal. So I want you to read through. Now, there's a structure for writing a proposal. The normal structure is first you greet, right? You greet the person, okay? You greet the person. You can show a little bit of cordiality by asking the person, "You hope you're well," okay? But that is not really necessary. But the structure is you must have an introduction, which is the greeting. You must have a body, right, which is where you explain to the client why you are the best, and then you should endeavor to have a conclusion. Always thank the person for taking time to read through your proposal, and then close with your name, just like we do in secondary school when writing our letters. Okay, so this is the proposal. Hi, I'm interested in your project on researching and collecting a unique. So you see that this is what the client said they are looking for. Let me highlight it. This is what the client said they are looking for. Don't forget that. The client said they are looking for this someone to collect a unique and original how to create a vision board guide. So this is how I started my own introduction. I'm interested in your project on how to research and collect a unique and original how to create a vision board guide. Did you see that? I have never to tell the client that look, I understand what you're looking for and I can do this thing for you. Now I went on to say with excellent English language skills, I can work fast. Remember the client says the person must possess this. The client said the person must possess excellent English skills. So let me go back and see where the client. You must have excellent command of English language. And I'm telling the client that look, with excellent English language skills, which means I have this skill. I have excellent command, a good command of the English language. English language, okay. And then I went on to say I can work fast and efficient, and I'm available to start. I'm available for an immediate start. Okay. Now I said I can work fast. Let's highlight this. I can work fast, right, and efficient. I'm available to start immediately, which is what the client is looking for. The client says, I'm looking for someone who must work fast and efficient and must be available to start immediately. And I've told the client, look, I can work fast and efficient and I'm available to start immediately. I didn't just stop there. Because the client also made comment on other things. Client say, I need someone who has an understanding of the law of attraction. So look at what I did. I have a solid understanding, which is this. I have a solid understanding of the law of attraction and experience writing about it, making me an ideal candidate for this task. I will create a short and concise guide offering creative ideas for digital and traditional board creation. If you read through the proposal, you will still see all of these elements here. The client says the person must have an understanding of law of attraction, and the person should be able to write the content in short and to the point guide with creative ideas on what could be done, on what could be included, and how it could be done, e.g., for digital, traditional, and so many others. And I've told the client that look, I have a solid understanding of the law of attraction and experience writing about it. Now, this experience makes me an ideal candidate for this task. I didn't stop there. I also tell the client how I would go about this. I said, I will create a short, which is what the client is looking for. The client is looking for something that is short and concise guide that offers practical ideas on how this thing can be done. Okay, so I have been able to tell the client that look, everything you're looking for, I'm an embodiment of all of that. I can deliver all of that. I didn't stop there again. I went on to say I have attached samples of my work for your review. I kindly request that you consider my application and hire me for this task. Available now. I've included what the client is also looking for. Person say you must include this in your proposal, which is what I've done. Okay. And then I also say that I've attached samples of my work, even though I attached just one sample. Right. Then I concluded my proposal by saying thank you and sincerely and all of that. So if you go to the proposal, this is what I attached. Right. I have an attachment. That is why I told you that in bidding for a job, look for a job you have samples on. Look for a job you have sample on. Okay? Because most clients will want to hire people who who have portfolio they can look at for. They would want to give you jobs that and then use that to experiment. All right. This does not mean that you can't get job if you don't have portfolio or samples. Okay. And even this sample, I created it in less than 15 minutes. I wrote this sample in less than I'm very fast with writing. Okay. So I did this in less than 15 minutes and then I submitted the proposal and I got a response from the client. Right? I got a response from the client. Let's see the response. Got the client say, I'm reaching out to discuss your availability. Hey, hey there, thanks for your application with excellent sample. I'm confirming you're available right now. The client is just telling me, I'm confirming you're available now for this task, and are confident you can complete it within a couple of hours. That doesn't seem to be too much for an issue, but double checking. She laughed. The finished task must be original, not plagiarized, and a concise but creative guide. The format you provided in your sample is perfect. If you have, if you are good to go, I will make the hire and send you few inclusions. Amanda. I said, thank you, Amanda. I'm available for the task. She said, okay. Then we went on and went on. And so she provided more and all of that. And I did the job in less than 1 hour. Was it even up to 1 hour? She be 45 minutes or 30 minutes or even less. I did that and then I submitted, and that was it. And ever since then, we've done a lot of jobs together. Okay, so that is the beauty of being hired once. Once it's a repeat task, you keep getting job from the client, and the client has given me a lot of good reviews. So let's look at another proposal, right? Another proposal. Now the main idea here is understand what the client is looking for. Understand the key ideas. For instance, this one we analyze here, we've looked at what the client is looking for. So if you're writing your proposal, you should be able to tell the client about these things. You have to prove to the client that you possess all of these qualities. Okay, so let's look at another proposal from another client. Okay, let's go with Shanti. Let's go with this. Let's go with this. Now, some of these jobs. Okay, okay. So let's go with this. Remember, your proposal should have a beginning, which is an introduction, more like a greeting, a compliment, and the body, and then the conclusion. Okay. So this is another job offer. This client, let me copy that again so you understand how these things work. There's no magic to this thing. I'm going to go down and paste this. Let's say another, oops, oops, another sample. So I'm currently typing with keyboard, the desktop. This is another job. The idea is understand what the client is looking for and present yourself as the best for this job by aligning your skill to the job description. This says I have 20 to 40 short articles that need backlinking. So what are the major ideas? Look, the person has this. This is what the person is looking for. Backlink. The person needs this content to be backlinked. Okay? Needs the content to be backlinked for a client. Now, I have links already. The person already has links. You will backlink 3 times for each articles. This is what the person wants, right? You just need to understand these things, right? Before you submit a proposal, ensure you read through to see if you can figure out the details. You will only backlink the exact keyword 2 times per 20 articles, right? These are the key ideas, what the person is looking for, okay? And the rest is just creating variation of backlinks. You also create variation of backlinks for other generic long tail keyword and all of that, and overall match for the links. So these are the major ideas. I know everyone, the person went on to say, I know everyone is busy, but I'm looking for the fastest turnaround possible. Someone who can deliver very fast. So you highlight this so that when you're writing your proposal, you bear all of this in mind, right? And also looking for someone who understands backlinking and the anchor test ratio. So these are the major ideas for this job. So what did I do? Let's go back to my proposal. I'm going to scroll down. So as you can see, this is for $100. Okay. Uh, Now look at my proposal. So as you can see, these are live jobs. So you don't think I'm just going to copy something somewhere. Let's go to the proposal. This is a proposal. Now let me paste it so we can analyze the, the proposal together. Oops, the proposal. Okay. So this is the proposal. Okay. Now if you I may possibly give you access to all of these if you need them. You just let me know and I'll give you access to them so you can study the structure of how I wrote all of these proposals and use them to your own advantage. Once you understand this principle, you're good to go. Okay, so let's go over the job description again. Person needs someone who can do backlinking. You backlink 3 times for each articles. You will do the exact word 2 times per 20 articles. Someone who is fast, and someone who understand backlinking and anchor test ratio. This is about SEO, search engine optimization. So if you don't have an idea about it, you don't need to bother yourself trying to submit proposal for it. You may not get the job. You may be wasting your connect. Look at what I did. The structure. I say hi. Sometimes you may need to mention the person's name if you're able to discover the person's name through the reviews given to the client. Okay? But if you don't, you can just start hi or hello. I hope this proposal finds you well. I'm writing to express my interest in backlinking your 20. This is what the person is looking for. short articles is what the person is looking for. And I went on to say, I will deliver in less than 24 hours without compromising on quality. Remember, the client says, someone with fast turnaround, right? Person say, I understand that everybody is busy, but I need somebody with the fastest turnaround. I'm not sure if 24 hours is the fastest turnaround, but I just have to look at the job and look at my ability and say, look, I can do this thing in less than 24 hours without compromising on quality. Okay? So this is it. I told the client I will do this. I've told the client what the person is looking is wants to do, which is this. And I'm telling the client I will deliver this job in less than 24 hours without compromising on quality. Because the client is not just looking for somebody who can deliver the jobs, who is the fastest, but also somebody who is the fastest without compromising on quality, which is the main is the beauty of the work. Okay, so I wanted to say that SEO is something I've been doing over the past 8 years, and I understand how anchor tests affect both user and search engine crawlers. And I'm confident in delivering the desired result efficiently within the shortest possible time. So I've been able to tell this client that look, I understand how these things work. Remember the person say they are looking for somebody who understands backlinking and anchor test ratio. But I didn't stop there. I said when working on internal and external keyword linking, the following ideas guides me. Exact match. Someone who understands SEO very well, understand what I'm saying here. So I presume since the person is looking for someone who can do backlinking, he or she should have an idea about SEO, how these things work, right? So I went on to explain how I do my own backlinking. I say exact match, partial match, and all of that. That is to say that I link URL to text that are either the exact match with the keyword of the URL related or branded and all of that. I did all of that. Now, if you go back to the proposal again, the person made mention of something like that. He said, you will backlink only the exact keyword 2 times per 20 articles. Okay. And look at what I said here. I went on to explain how I go about my own backlinking. As you can see here, exact match and all of that. I said that is to say that URLs I link URLs to text that are either the exact match with the keyword of the URL or related and all of that. So I didn't stop there. I really want to convince this client that I can actually do this. So I gave instances of how this thing is done in real life. For example, so if a client posts a job and you have an idea about it, you may decide to go further by giving instances of how this thing is done to show the client that you can actually do this thing. So I went on and on and on, just trying to explain to the client the idea behind backlinking and how it can be done. And after everything, I closed my my proposal. Say thank you, best regards. Now I got a response from the client. He said, "Hi, Prince Will. Thank you so much for your crafted message." Now the person sent me an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement that I will not disclose this job that actually did it, right? So it's part of some of the things you may come across. Okay, so that is how to go about writing a proposal. When you see a job on Upwork, when you see a job on Upwork, read through it, understand the idea behind it. Does this match my skill? If it does, then you're good to go. You write your proposal, analyzing the content of the job description and positioning yourself as the best person for the job. And that is it. So that is all for this. I could go on and on because I have other clients here. I have that client I could actually go on to show you, right? So just understand the idea. Once you see a job, try to understand the main ideas the person is trying to pass. If somebody say, I want to eat soup, don't go and be telling the person, well, you can eat rice. No, present soup to the person, and that is it. All right. So I will see you in the next module.